Here's your snap.
Appreciate it. Hey, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to N.Cast. You have your co-host, Prince, and...
my name is Brian. Hello.
How y'all doing? Hopefully you're surviving, staying clean, keeping your sanity during this quarantine and the coronavirus. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. A lot of... this is going to be a updates episode. Yeah. We don't have a solid feature topic this week due to what's been going on in the world right now. But we're hoping I'm still giving you a entertaining episode nonetheless.
And on top of that, you don't want to create too much hysteria and negativity. So you want to have more relaxed episode during this time period.
Yes, definitely. So with that being said, Prince, I think we should start off by asking what have we been up to last time we've been recording?
Well, I guess what we've been up to is obviously quarantine, trying to, not go outside unless it was necessary, staying clean, making sure that our areas around us is clean and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't think I've done much. I did start my last course in my grad class, so that's going on. I renovated my business website on my other end, so that I've been being productive during quarantine. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Since the whole world is on pause now, it's a very opportune time to kind of catch up on things that you've been putting off for the past few months. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing, right? With the whole world on pause, you want to catch up on things that you've been putting off for the past few months.
Good. I honestly feel like there's pros and cons to what's going on with the world right now, and in our personal lives.
That reminds me. My brother told me the other day. It's with the whole self-quarantine lockdown thing going on. It's a time to rest up, especially if life has been going a little too fast for you or life's getting really hectic. Maybe some time spent at home, to yourself and just kind of giving yourself a break, catching up on sleep is can actually turn this negative situation into a positive in ways.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it's brought in a lot of alcoholics out during this time period. I'm not gonna lie. Either a lot of people are doing the push-up challenge or they're doing this until tomorrow on social media, but I've seen a lot of alcoholics come out. And even though it looks like fun, but deep down inside, they're just trying to cope with what's going on.
Yeah, they kept the liquor stores open because of that.
That's an essential business, my friend. Yeah. You close that liquor store, there's gonna be a riot.
There's gonna be riots.
There's gonna be a riot. Oh my, there's gonna be an apocalypse. To be honest with you,
that's when you start having broken windows and stuff.
Oh yeah, they're gonna start looting and everything. So
they start looting like it's Fortnite or something.
But since we're talking about essential and non-essential businesses, at least in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, a lot of non-essential businesses have been closing down in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, more and more stuff since the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Right about now, we still have grocery stores. Grocery stores and pharmacies have to stay open. They have liquor stores open.
Gas stations,
and outside of those, very few things, really.
I really can't think it's really essential outside of those.
Because there's a lot of financing companies that just recently closed their doors since the last time we spoke. And
now the drive-thrus are still open. Yeah, because I've been going to banks that have the drive-thrus still open. Yeah. And on top of that, I never really like walking into banks.
Yeah, me neither.
Because they start wasting your time and stuff like that. But yeah, if you count financial businesses like banks being open, that's still open. But bars, ice cream
bars
stores,
have been closed. Yeah.
All those places have been closed.
Yeah, definitely.
And it makes perfect sense. Restaurants, they're definitely doing a lot more DoorDash, Postmates, delivery service, just to limit the contact.
Yeah, and even those delivery services are now switched to non-contact delivery methods. So I think that when they get delivered, they just leave it at your doorstep, right?
Yeah. They have to.
Yeah.
I mean, we both have participated in both of those type of industries, and that just for protection and extra precaution, you just leave it at the doorstep, which is not a problem, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's in front of the customer's doorstep. Pretty sure that it's not going to get messed up unless it's like raining.
Yeah.
And even then, you'll tell them like, I'm about to drop it off, so you better.
Yeah.
You better
be here.
Yeah, you better be here because I'm not getting in contact with you. But we'll move on. Not digress about that.
Damn, you're not gonna ask me what I've been doing?
I'm sorry, did I not? I thought I did. Okay, let me ask you. I'm being a little greedy. Ryan, what have you been doing?
Since the last time we spoke, I've obviously still been in my room, self-quarantined.
With Nina?
With Nina and Tron, my boy and girl.
I just met Tron like 3 months ago, so I gotta remember Tron's with you.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy. Just been online, been on Discord channels, playing video games.
The Discord, especially because you've been like working on your Korean. Tell our audience about that, because I've been like sharing that on Twitter and stuff like that too. So how's that been going?
Oh, my live streaming?
Yeah, with your live streaming.
Oh, so like on Twitch.
Yeah. Is it Twitch, or I thought you were doing on Discord too?
So Discord is like what you use for like communities and stuff like that. Like you can stream on Discord, but you only streaming to like your friends.
Okay, that's how ignorant I am.
Twitch is like when you stream on Twitch is like that's a public thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have been streaming on Twitch for a little bit through the past week. I haven't done a Korean study session on Twitch in about a couple of weeks. I'll probably do one soon, but what I have been doing is just playing video games on Twitch. You know, just like how most people are. And I have some friends that come show up and support, and it's been pretty fun. It's just something, you know, like I was going back to saying, like, you know, taking this time to do stuff that you've always wanted to do, but you've been putting off. I've always wanted to get more into like streaming, so having this opportunity to do that is really cool.
Awesome.
I've also been playing a lot of Overwatch lately.
What is Overwatch?
Overwatch, it's a first person shooter. You know, you got teams of 6, like 6 on 6, and you're usually like fighting for some objective. It's been out for about 4 years now. I remember I played it during launch, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. But the past few days, I was like, you know what? Let me get back into it because it's gotten a lot of updates. The game has changed a lot since I last played it, like 4 years ago. And I've been playing with some friends, and we've been having a blast.
Nice.
Yeah.
It always helps when you have like other friends from the community come play with you.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not always about the story mode and you're trying to keep up with the dialogue and all that stuff.
Yeah. It's just nice to just get with friends, you know, have a conversation and play some games.
It's interesting, like this social distancing is like physical.
It's only physical, but like in terms of like talking with people, I'm still talking to people every day.
Because about connecting now it's important how you got to connect with people, and it just shows your social skills. Like, okay, you can physically distance each other because you don't want to get the virus, but connecting with people online is still there. It's still an opportunity. Speaking of which, a lot of businesses have been booming through cam messaging,
like live cam.
Yeah, live cam messaging like Skype and Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
in regards to Zoom, I mean, we talked about this a little bit off air, but I believe most courses right now, when they switch to online, I think Zoom is one of the more popular choices.
I feel like it's more professional with Zoom.
Yeah, because Skype is more for like talking with friends, but you also have Skype for business, but I don't think that's that all. Cause like Skype for business, I think you also need like a work email or something like that. So yeah, I think that's why like Zoom's really popular, because Zoom has a lot of features that aid itself well to like conducting a course online. For me personally, most of my courses are using Blackboard, I think it's like Blackboard Interactive or something like that, which is basically like Zoom. Same thing really, like, you know, you just have lots of webcams, like a live chat, and you have like this cool little button, and it's like Brian raised his hand. Like it's kind of cool.
I think the course I'm taking, even though we're not gonna have it's strictly online. It used to be hybrid, but it's strictly online right now.
Yeah. So it was a hybrid course before, but now it's like it's just
because I only had to go to the class like once or twice in the semester.
Oh yeah. So then that translates well to an online class. Yeah.
Like I have classmates who are in California.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like Now it's just like, okay, strictly online. I can do it at my own pace. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And now it's about just self-discipline. A lot of people don't even know they have self-discipline or not until like they take an online course.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I've never really been a huge fan of online class courses, because it's like it's really, really up to you on when you want to do things and when you not want to do things. Because like at least with going with a class, like it just helps you keep on track. It's like you go to a class and you listen to a lecture and you have a professor like tell you face to face like what you should be doing like this week, the next week, and all that stuff. Like it's easy to ask questions and get advice on certain things. So switching to online, like you have more freedom, but you also have some like hurdles that could really start with you, and that's why like online courses lend themselves well to certain people, and for other people they're a bit of a struggle. Me, I'm like 50-50 on them.
It depends on the individual.
Yeah, like for example, right? Say like I get assigned something in a class, and it's like, hey, you have 3 weeks to do this, and you go at your own pace. If I was in like a physical class, like and where we meet like once or twice a week, you come into class and your professor kind of does like a check-in. And it's like, hey, so how far have y'all gotten on your project? Does anybody have any questions? And say like somebody has a question. It's like, all right, well, yeah, seems like we have a lot of questions on that. So let's talk about that during this class and stuff like that. And technically, you still have an opportunity to ask those questions in an online class, but it's harder for professors to kind of communicate because
there's a time lapse.
Yeah,
there's time space in between it, like especially when it's email.
Yeah,
like
because then like you guys send an email, like who knows when you'll get the email back? Sometimes it's later that day, sometimes it's like 2 days, and when they get back, the answer might not be satisfactory. So then it's like some professors are right now doing like virtual office hours, so they'll have like live cam like office hours, and like that's cool. That's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's tough because you still can't top just going to a classroom and just talking to a professor face to face, especially with the whole class. And then like say like you ask a question in class and then the professor answers it, and then somebody else asks a question because like, oh wait, I didn't even think about this till just now until somebody else asked this question. Here's another thing about online classes, like you don't really know like what other people were saying in the class.
Yes. You have discussion boards.
Yeah, you do, but like that requires you to actually like type on the discussion, like actually go that extra step to typing on the discussion board. And then you also have to check that discussion board too. Like who knows like who's actually checking the discussion board. Like everybody's supposed to attend class, but you don't have to check the discussion board.
Integrity,
yeah.
Integrity. But that's a little sidebar. Just before we go to the next segment, just because it's really important about the quarantine update and the coronavirus and stuff like that. In case people didn't know, what's today?
Today is March 29th.
March 29th, 2020. USA has been confirmed to have the most cases in the world with the coronavirus.
Yeah. I think as of this recording, I think the last update we got is we have over 120,000 cases.
You're just throwing numbers out there, but I know it's up there. I just know that.
I know that was definitely the case. Like, I believe that was reported yesterday, if not earlier this morning.
I know it's over 100,000, but
yeah.
I just didn't know the exact numbers. I didn't want to throw numbers, but if you know, cool. I just know it's a lot.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a leap. As of this recording, it's definitely a leap. It's at least 100.
And I think who's following is, at least under us, is Italy, Spain, and then China. One of those three. I don't know if it's chronological order, but I know those are the next three.
In terms of like rank,
yeah,
of like
ranking,
most cases, it's us. I don't know who has more. I think Italy
and Spain are combating with each other, but we were like 9 days behind Italy.
Yeah,
and then we just surpassed them with like within 5 to 6 days. Like we were 9 days behind them 5 to 6 days ago.
Yeah,
to be honest with you, and then we just surpassed them.
Well, that's also because we're finally doing more testing. Not as much as we need to, but like obviously, like when you.
But places like Pennsylvania and Florida aren't even taking it seriously. Like you see articles, like you see people, like thousands of people in the park just chilling in Pennsylvania, and then obviously the spring breakers in Florida. I'm like, bro, like they're not even from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even from Florida, so it's like, bro, like, yeah, we're doing more testing, but who's like taking it seriously?
Yeah, and like that's the problem, right? Like the reason why self-quarantine is so important is we need to flatten the curve. Like if people just stop going outside and just chill at home for just at least 2 weeks, like that can go a long, long way in slowing down the spread.
You're asking a first world country to not do what they want. That's
There's
the
other
problem.
first world countries that have done it though.
But I'm like, but America is like, we're arrogant.
Yeah, we are arrogant.
And it's just showing how arrogant.
It's in our culture. Like we are arrogant. Like I remember, I was like 9 years old, and my mom told me like Americans are arrogant. I'm like, really? And like here I am at the age 24. I was like, yeah, my mom was right.
Yeah, we're arrogant.
Americans are arrogant.
And it's just showing. Like what's going on right now is just showing it. And a lot of people are like, man, I'm depressed. All I do is smoke and drink and blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, like it's not just you. A lot of people are feeling the same effect, and it's because we are an individualist country. You know what I'm saying? We only think about self.
Yeah, because we're individualists to a fault, really.
And we're spoiled. Like that's the truth about it.
Like we have so many people here. It's like, I'm not scared of the coronavirus. I'm gonna go outside and do what I want to do. Like, and it's like, all right, guy. Like,
but that's besides the point. I'm not here to judge people. I'm here to just inform. So we'll go on to the next segment, which is about the stimulus package.
So this was the other big news that we got within the past week. So the U.S. has finally delivered us some type of financial compensation for, obviously most of these businesses closing, a lot of these people becoming partially, or should I say temporarily unemployed. So
which means the percentage went up like 20-30%.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of pulling this number from like my memory, but I believe right now, currently, our unemployment rate is like around like 35%. I think 37% was the number I saw. Don't quote me on that, but it was around there. So obviously, yes, we knew a stimulus package was coming because obviously people need some money to pay the bills and do other stuff. So what we got, we don't have the full details here, but in the gist of things, basically,
all I really know about the stimulus package is you're gonna get a $1,200 check, and the only way you're eligible is if you make under $75,000 as your main source of income. Now it varies on family size and how many children you have and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna get into that much detail because I don't want to be quoted on it. But just know
there's a big asterisk.
Yeah, there's a big asterisk. The problem with it is the amount of money coming out, and for instance, Canada is getting a monthly check.
Yeah, so let's not beat around the bush. Like it's not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough.
So
for one check.
Yes, one check payment of $1,200 is not enough.
No.
Especially with all this stuff because we have bills, we have groceries.
Even with investments, even with the stock market, I get where a lot of people are thinking about it. It's like if you knew how to invest the money, it's like you see the stock market. A lot of people don't know how to short the market. Don't do that. A lot of people don't have enough time to just be like, okay, if I put my money in the market, I'm gonna get it the next day. No, because they don't understand the market, they can lose their money the next day. So it's very important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's a pandemic. Things a lot of this was out of a lot of people's control.
Yeah.
Not everybody is in the best financial situation in their lives right now. At one point, for most people, I'd say there's a point in their lives where they're just kind of down.
And I'm not trying to even take it as a liberal approach. The people need help. Sometimes people are in the situation they're in because of their choice in life decisions. And a lot of people who are in business can be like, if you had enough savings and if you were smart about it, listen. People, it's not about being smart and having a plan. Some people have a plan, but they don't have the resources to implement into that plan.
Yeah.
You have to think more than just okay, there's a structure behind it. You have to think more of a macro scale, especially nationwide. So a lot of people will try to hit a conservative point about this, and I really want to talk about that because it's just I see it on social media a lot. You didn't have a backup plan, you didn't have a savings. Okay, that emergency savings they had to spend it on the next few bills that were coming up.
Think about this. Say you got sick.
Yeah.
So you did get the coronavirus, and then you need money for treatment.
Not even that. I just saw this one kid had a heart failure problem, and they had to pull money out of his savings on the social media site. I'm like, bro, that's what I'm saying. There's unexpected things that happen in your life.
Yeah.
And this kid's under 25, so it's just don't be that arrogant to the point where it's just if you had a plan, you would have been prepared for a pandemic like this. It's no, asshole. You got to realize people have different type of lifestyles. They don't have the same income source that you have coming in. I understand you worked hard for what you got, but people are still learning through life and trying to make it work for themselves. So don't just be so narrow-minded. Have like more of a world perspective or a nation's perspective of what's going on. Period.
Yeah, and then another part that we want to touch base on regarding the U.S.'s response in terms of finance conversations. There's been a big talk about these about another what's the phrase I'm looking for? Business bailout.
Here we go.
So we don't want to go too deep into it.
No, but like, I mean, we can still give our opinions on it because a lot of people can just research it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I was reading this article about Mark Cuban saying like, okay, if you bail out businesses like airline or any other service industry, once you bail them out, they should not be allowed to buy back their stocks. Because when they buy back their stocks, it affects the employees the most.
Yeah.
Period.
And like that's like the back and forth, in like
disagreement with Congress.
Yeah, Congress is like we don't want to we don't want to leave these workers vulnerable.
Yeah.
We don't want to bail out these big businesses and leave the workers vulnerable.
And that's what happened in 2008.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So that's the problem. So like, I guess like the problem when they were trying to get the stimulus package to come out, the Republicans, even though they don't have the House of Representatives, they still wrote the bill and then presented it to the House of or Congress saying this is the bill, and the Democrats were like, no, this is not acceptable because it was very biased and it was very like company oriented, like to help the companies out, and it's just like you're still gonna screw over the middle class and American people.
Yeah, and that's why like they've been really slow on rolling stuff out,
and they're still screwing over the American people because you're with a one check. So
it's just a one-time payment. Like you were about to say earlier, like Canada they're getting $2,000 a month.
Yeah,
like that's $2,000 a month. Now
the only issue I was telling Brian off air about this is about inflation. When you get free money, there's strings attached to it. Taxation reasons and price going up, which is part of inflation. You get free money. If you want the market to keep circulating and working, you're going to have consumers. You're going to have consumers, prices are going to go up because scarcity in business matters. And that's just the way the business world works. Yeah, that's the way the business world works. So,
with that being said, there's another topic that you wanted to discuss today, before we sign off here, and that's about what's this called?
ID 2020. Yes. Okay, so I'll lead this off in the next segment. So, as many people have known, a lot of CEOs have dropped off from their company or took a step down from their company as the CEO position. Now, for a lot of CEOs, I can't speak for them, but I can speak for Bill Gates because I know where his next objective was, and it is to go to this company called ID 2020. Now, I'm just going to read off the notes that I have right here. ID 2020 is building a new global model for the design, funding, and implementation of digital ID solution and technology. So what does that actually mean? What I took from that statement was they're trying to find a way to give globally people an ID, a digital ID. And the only way they can actually do that is by implanting devices into our skin. Now, you can take what I say with a grain of salt. I don't know what Bill Gates and this organization's exact plan is, but from what I'm taking from it, they're trying to implement digital IDs into Internet of Things, which means they have to implement something into our skin, which I don't feel comfortable with, to get a digital ID out of us. Now, conspiracy theorists, people who are afraid of the New World Order and stuff like that, may feel uncomfortable with stuff like that. I'm just saying, you can go look up this website yourself. It's online. It's a secure website. Like, when you look on the web browser, it's secure and all that. So you know it's legit, right? It's still kind of eerie to me. One, Bill Gates dropping down from Microsoft, and two, the fact that they're coming up with a plan to have not just the USA, but the world have a digital ID. And the only way they can do it is through implementing a device into our body. Now, they say there's benefits like data protection, faster currency exchange, etc. Yeah, but there's pros and cons to it. You know what I mean? That means somebody's always going to be watching you. But then you also have faster transaction with currency. You don't need a paper bill or your phone.
You have an undeniable like identification as well, right?
Exactly. This is just a theory, but like you watch the series Black Mirror, social credit system. This is what they're doing in China right now. Now, this is not to, like I said in the beginning of the episode, this is not to cause hysteria or anything like that, but it's something to keep in mind what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, a social credit system can be very biased at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just, it's very hard to trust something like that because you're kind of like playing God. You know what I mean? And with that much control. That's the only reason why I'm bringing to my attention. I don't know Bill Gates' intention. I don't know people who are funding this industry, ID 2020. It's just, when you look it up, it's just like, okay, a very small group of people have a large amount of power for almost the entire world, which is kind of eerie to me. And I just want to bring this out to you guys or any of our audience members. Like, what do you think about it? You know what I mean? Like, do you trust Bill Gates with that much power? Or anybody who's backing up this industry with that much power? You know? Like, I feel like many more people should have say in this. You know? And that's just how I feel about it. You know, I'm just one person. Brian's just another person too. Like, it's just something to talk about. It's just, like, there's no problem discussing about it at the end of the day. But that's basically what I wanted to say about that segment about ID 2020. But I will ask Brian, what's your opinion about it? Because I am curious.
It's a lot to take in. And like you said, like, there's big concerns on like what are like the repercussions of this.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, if you look up the website and you like watch and you like read like their kind of like basic goals,
objectives,
and
missions.
Yeah, and it's like you can see like what they feel will bring, what like kind of like positives this will bring. But there's a lot of skepticism, and there's like, and it's easy to see how this could be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Even if they claim that this is meant to not be taken advantage of.
But it's like the slogan with Google, do no evil, or something like that. It's just like, why did you even mention that in your mission statement or slogan? Like, that brings a red flag to my brain. Because
they're just trying to paint themselves as like people that are on your side.
Paint themselves as people on your side.
That's why I use that word.
I mean, it's very difficult to like just like explain how like dangerous something like that is without sounding like delusional. Because like they're telling it how it is, but like you said, they're painting it that way for a reason. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's just like, at the end of the day, it's who's ever watching this or whoever talks about this topic, like we're talking about it on our podcast, is for the general public to understand what's going on.
And just like we said in our last episode, we were talking about media and like the makers behind media and like the corporations that own media. It's like, it starts with a message created by somebody, and they have a goal, they have an objective, and they have an agenda, and that is expressed through their message and something that they purposely want you to absorb. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think I'm gonna put Lil Bro's like TikTok video about media corporations at the end of this video.
You want to plug that in?
Yeah, just because like, one, it's reference, and two, we kind of were ahead of the curve about it. So like,
hey, you're the second person to say ahead of the curve in the last week, and it always reminds me this line from The Dark Knight when Batman's interrogating the Joker, and then he like goes on this rant. He's like, "See, I'm not a monster."
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Go ahead. I'm not a monster. I'm just ahead of the curve.
That's what it is. That's literally what it is. We're ahead of the curve. And it's just like, if you're not getting with the program, you're just only going to worry about this virus, which media corporations only want you to focus on.
So, if I'm correct in assuming this, a big reason why you brought this up is because it's like, yeah, we have the coronavirus pandemic going on right now, but don't forget about what's also going on in the world.
But I want people to have a peace of mind at the end of the day. Because, like, at the end of the day, I want people to be healthy. Like, I want people to still, like, live their lives and still, like, enjoy life. Because life is still simple. We just overcomplicate things. Yeah. So that's, like, at the end of the day, it's always about our approach. But what we talk about on this podcast, what we bring to people's attention, is about our approach. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important.
I think that's a good indie message.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, it's about the approach. It's about approach, and, like, you know, like, it's so much negative stuff going on in the world. People are in their house. They miss, like, having human contact with their friends. They miss going out and talking to their friends. So us, like, just opposing, like, stuff that's going on with, like, Bill Gates and stuff like that, like, we still have to come in calm with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something to bring your attention about. It's not something to scare you. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of this stuff can be scary. But at the same time, you can still bring logic to it and be like, all right, like, this may be going on. How can we find a solution? Because at the end of the day, you want to find a solution. You don't want to just bring the problem and complain about it. No, like, find a solution. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If you see a problem, you naturally just want to find a solution to it. Yeah.
I mean, that may be just me being a man, because most men are, like, logical and they, like, want to find more solutions.
They try to be logical. Yeah, we've talked in previous episodes. Like, men and women are a mix of logic and emotion. Like, that's just how we are as human beings. Yes.
But, like, at the end of the day, like, I just don't want to just complain about what's negative going on in the world, because there's so much more positive that go in the world. And so we as human beings are capable of finding solutions and positivity in the world. And that's the message I really want to spread. Yeah. At the end of the day.
You know, before I forget, I want to say this right here. I think a good topic for next episode is just talking about ways you can spend this quarantine time, like in like a productive way, both in like active and in passive sort of time spent.
And I got ideas for it too. So
yeah. I got something to think for.
That was my closing thoughts. Yeah. You got any closing thoughts?
No. I said my piece for today.
All right. Yeah. So that works out. Like I say every episode, I usually put it above us, our social media stuff. You can follow us there. I'm probably going to say it too, just because we do have a podcast, so it's going to be audio. Yeah, just audio too.
We got to look out for our audio listeners, so I'll go first.
Go ahead.
If you want to reach me, it's on Twitter or Instagram. I prefer Twitter, though, because it's a platform more open for direct communication. That is Brian Lives Life, BrianLives Life.
Nice. And then my Twitter is Nigma Prince, NIGMAPRINCE. And then my personal Instagram is P._NIGMA. And then our podcast Instagram is N_CAST_. And you can also reach us at email if you're interested at ncastpodcast@gmail.com. That's NCATPODCAST.
Nice.
So, and that concludes our podcast for today. This episode is called Vaccine and Agendas. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, and Brian, close us out in our traditional closeout. Until next time.
This is what happens when one company controls all the local news stations.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
No, that was extremely dangerous to our democracy.
All the things, try to tell me, don't